All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call I'm la ain't know we hold by Shimmy outside. By Shem Harakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the great millstone who will teach well, and Hari Shalom to the elect. All right, is North Korea sending troops to Ukraine in support of the Russian-Ukraine war? All right. That's Lord will. That's what I remember to call up. I'm going to read a few articles and get some scriptures. And Lord will, you see that the Lord is having his pieces move in regards to this war. All right, and in regards to things brewing up to World War III. It says here, U.S. consults allies about North Korea troops in Ukraine. It says it would be a dangerous and highly concerning development if North Korea was sending troops to Russia to help Russia in Ukraine. The United States said on Monday, as South Korea and Britain warned of the high price Moscow would likely have to pay Pyongyang. We are consulting with our allies and partners on the implications of such a dramatic move. Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the UN Robert Wood told the 15-member United Nations Secretary Council Russia invaded neighboring country Ukraine in 2022. Ukraine President Zelensky has accused Pyongyang of preparing to send 10,000 soldiers to Russia. Ukraine's UN ambassador, I don't even know how to say that name, told the Secretary Council on Monday these troops are expected to be ready for war against Ukraine by November 1, and that's in a couple weeks. South Korea's spy agency said last week that North Korea had shipped 1,500 Special Forces troops to Russia's Far East for training and acclimatizing at military bases, and that they were likely to be deployed for combat in Ukraine. If this is true, this marks a dangerous and highly concerning development and obvious deepening of the DPRK Russia military relationship. Wood said of the reports using North Korea's former line, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The Kremlin earlier on Monday declined directly to answer a query on whether North Korean troops were going to fight in Ukraine, but spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Moscow's cooperation with Pyongyang was not directed against third countries. So it's a likely chance, okay? And if it's true, good. If it's not true, okay. All right, because the Lord's still going to bring about war any other way, all right? It says Russia's UN ambassador, Vasily Nebenzia, accused Western countries of becoming distracted by circulating scaremongering with Iran, China, and North Korea boogeymen of each of one which is more absurd than the other. All right, it says Britain's UN ambassador Woodward said it is highly likely that North Korea was sending troops, and it's good if they do, okay? All right, because then that means other nations are going to be doing the same thing or moving troops around in order to combat what Russia's doing, or Russia going to get more aid from other countries, or Russia going to give other countries aid, okay? Nonetheless, the Lord is drawing people up for war, and that's what it's all about. This is for the controversy of Zion, all right? The Lord going to judge all these nations. It says it seems that the heart of Russia that the harder Putin finds it to recruit Russians to be cannon fodder, the more willing he is to rely on DPRK in his illegal war. She said, we can be certain that the DPRK leadership will ask of a high price for Russia in return. All right, that last part ain't talking about nothing. So it's highly likely, man. Okay, and if they are, that's good. Okay. This is Revelation 11 and 14. It says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, the third world's war is on its way, man. Okay. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians better wake up. All right, because the Lord is coming to destroy. He's going to destroy America by the use of these other countries. All right, this is Jeremiah 51 and 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her recompense. All right, the Lord's going to pay back Esau, Edom for all the things that he's done to you so-called Latinos and Native American Indians by way of war, by way of destruction. All right, and the Lord's going to throw in his form of destruction when he comes too. All right, but we can see on a physical sense that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is allowing these other nations to build themselves up. Okay, let me see. I think it's Jeremiah 50. Yep, this is Jeremiah 50 and 14. It says, put yourself in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bid in a bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. All right, the Lord is going to have these other nations as they move their troops and equipment into different countries, such as North Korea, moving their stuff into Russia with their 10,000 troops or their 1,500 special forces troops. All right. They're going to be moving military equipment as far as, missile capable military equipment, tanks and things of that nature. And other nations are going to have their weapons of, mass destruction to shoot at America as well, okay? Those arrows, okay, go into those thermonuclear missiles, which are going to be shot over here, okay? All right, so and when the scriptures say flee out of Babylon, leave this place spiritually, okay? Don't continue to partake in it because you see wars brewing up, okay? All right, here goes another article. It's going to mirror the same thing, but it has a video, all right?
A Chewy order is on the way for Cash, everyone's favorite employee at Bill's Bodega, where Bill uses Chewy to keep Cash hard at work. Toys to keep his instincts sharp.
All right, it says North Korean soldiers have been filmed receiving uniforms and other equipment at a training ground in Russia's Far East, appearing to confirm reports from South Korea's National Intelligence Service that 1,500 soldiers have been shipped over for military training to be deployed in Ukraine. Now,
food so he won't snack on the inventory.
You have to...
even a new collar to let everyone know who's boss. And with Chewy's low prices, Bill's left with more cash to spend on Cash. For low prices and fast shipping, for life with pets, there's Chewy.
I also want to talk about Russia's war in Ukraine because we have some really incredible new information, which is that South Korea's spy.
You have to question and ask questions is what I'm saying, okay?
Agency says that North Korea has sent at least 1,500 troops to aid Russia in its war in Ukraine. We have even video of North Korean soldiers receiving Russian uniforms and equipment at a Russian training base. It just reminds us, Colonel, how connected...
I don't know what a Russian uniform looks like as far as their military uniforms, nor do I know what a Korean uniform looks like, okay, as far as their uniforms. But if this is what it is, then that's what it is, okay?
A lot of these countries are adversaries of the U.S. and its allies. How alarming is this? How should the U.S. and its allies respond?
Well, this is alarming. It's not the first time something like this has happened. In fact, during the Korean War back in the early 1950s, the Russians would actually be the pilots of North Korean planes, North Korean fighter jets. And that is something, so I guess we could say that the North Koreans are paying the Russians back finally for those services. But the key thing is this: now we have another power potentially getting involved in the war in Ukraine. It shows that Russia has a manpower problem. They also face significant domestic resistance to actually being drafted into the war in Ukraine. So the way to solve that manpower shortage appears to be to hire foreign troops. And in this case, those foreign troops are North Korean. And that, of course, means that North Korea is more directly involved than we previously thought. And that potentially widens the conflict beyond just Ukraine-Russia. It could also impact the Korean Peninsula. And of course, the U.S. has vested interests both in Europe and on the Korean Peninsula.
All right, so if it's true, good, right? Good, because the Lord is just drawing this place closer and closer to its destruction. Okay, just one day at a time, all right? It says North Korean soldiers have been filmed receiving uniforms and equipment at a training ground in Russia's Far East, appearing to confirm reports from South Korea's National Intelligence Service that 1,500 soldiers have been shipped over for military training to be deployed in Ukraine. It says the North Korean troops are thought to be receiving training before being sent to the front line in Ukraine, in what is thought to be a clear sign of ever-warming relations between Moscow and Pyongyang. All right, then it's talking about the video. It says in a video shared with CNN by Ukraine government organization, the Ukraine Center Strategic Communication and Information Security, a long line of soldiers can be seen queuing to receive their uniforms. The soldiers thought to be speaking Korean, although the low-quality audio prevented their discussions from being fully understood. It says upon arriving in Russia, the North Korean recruits have been asked to fill out a questionnaire providing their size for hats, headgear, uniforms, and shoes. All right, and you can see that below. It says another video circulating on social media, geolocated by CNN, showed troops arriving at the Shirgrevik training ground close to Russia's border with China. In the video, a Russian speaker can be heard in the background saying, "We can't film them," before adding, "There are more than a million. There are millions of them here. Here are the new reinforcements. This is just the beginning. There are more." All right, so whether it's true or not, Lord, will it be true? Because something can spark out of this, and we can be a step closer to getting home. Okay. Let me get another scripture. This is Mark chapter 13 and verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. All right, and there's one of my coworkers was saying there was like a flood in New Mexico recently. I think it's France being flooded out. All right, and you got war going on. You got war in Israel between I think it's the Palestinians and the Israelis. Okay, It's going down, okay? And these other nations are getting involved. It's going down. It says, but take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogue you shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought to rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them. And the gospel must first be published among all nations. All right, and that's what we're doing. We publishing the gospel. We're telling the people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the good news. And all this is good news, man, because this is one step closer to us getting home. All right, Lord, we'll edify to the next time. Shalom.